The first unseen and close boxed in plain sight. CNN student news.
Versatility at activity, activity, energy through seafood. I'll be the prelude to what we don't care. My blueprint makes you wear tuxedo. Tagging and ragging and bagging and zigzagging and backing you diagonal. Plus above below. Trust me though.
Hello and welcome to Guerilla Wolves Movie News. I'm Parker Lehman. Well, this is my last review ever. It's been a long and bumpy road, and now we have arrived at the end. Just to get this out of the way, I would like to thank everyone who has been watching this segment over the years and providing the support and compliments that you have. This show has helped me to grow into the person that I am, and has helped me one step closer to achieve my dream of becoming a filmmaker and getting into film school. I'd also like to thank my homies who sleep through Guerilla Wolves. I hope you guys have fun being miserable and tired for the rest of your lives. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. It's no secret that this show is at its best when I'm reviewing something really bad. Strap yourselves in. These are my top 3 worst movies of all time.
Have you seen Chef?
By Jon Favreau.
Number 3 is one of the most torturous experiences I've ever had to sit through. Not only was it boring, cheesy, stupid, gaudy, stupid, trite, and stupid, it was also 3 hours long. That's right, I'm talking about Transformers 4. I forgot the subtitle because it's generic and uninspired. Now, I'm aware that some of you think this movie is good, and you can think what you want, but I think you shouldn't be able to vote in the upcoming election. Michael Bay truly outdid himself this time, and I'm not a Transformers hater. The first Transformers movie, oddly enough, is actually the movie where I realized I wanted to be a filmmaker, and I feel like it still holds up really well to this day. Of course, it has its flaws. But this one not only abandoned the characters that it spent 3 movies fleshing out, however minimally, but it also introduced unnecessary new elements that are barely a presence at all, like the Dinobots. Put that on top of CGI that looks like it came from ColecoVision.
You are the player, and the arcade is the arena. You focus your mind and propel yourself into a universe where you're the master of your destiny for as long as you can keep the trip going. This is the arcade experience. We're ColecoVision. We bring the arcade experience home with games like Donkey Kong with multiple screens, arcade controls, and arcade graphics that let you have the arcade experience at home because your vision is our vision. ColecoVision.
And horrible sound mixing, and you got yourself a celluloid torture device. I think the biggest testament to the pointlessness of this movie's existence is Hasbro saying it was making the movie in order to sell new toys. That's all you need to know. Number 2 is a film that disappointed me on an almost personal level. Now, the Wachowskis are infamous in Hollywood for falling into the M. Night Shyamalan category of wasted potential. Coupled with the fact that they've evolved from the Wachowski brothers to the Wachowski siblings to the Wachowski sisters, and they've become pretty much inaccessible to the general movie-going public. However, I never understood the hate. The Matrix is a classic action movie, however flawed it may be. And the sequels are decently entertaining, even though they may do some info dumping. They don't make you feel like an idiot while you're watching them. And I think it makes for a solid trilogy. Other films that they've made, like V for Vendetta, are also fantastic. And Speed Racer is honestly one of the best adapted cartoon movies of all time, because it adhered to the source material while also elevating it for live action and updating it for a new generation. And Cloud Atlas was probably my favorite movie of 2012. If you haven't seen any of these movies, check them out. They're severely underrated. So when I heard Jupiter Ascending was coming out, I got really excited because this was their chance at another big budget sci-fi movie. This could have been their next Matrix, their next Dynasty, and this could have been their reintroduction to the general movie-going public. But instead, we got this.
I create life! And I destroy it.
Everything is half-baked. The acting, the screenplay, the directing, the jokes, the special effects, the camera work, everything. The only one who actually tries is Eddie Redmayne, who turns in a hilariously garbage villain performance. The Wachowskis really shot themselves in the foot with this one. As a result, their Netflix series barely got any attention, and they'll probably never work in Hollywood again after that bomb. They were attached to do an adaptation of the cartoon Ben 10 for a while, but that's probably never going to come out, even though it would have been really cool. This movie made me realize all the corny tropes that they use in their movies, and I've had to force it from my brain in order to continue to enjoy the rest of their filmography. It's becoming really hard to defend you guys. Number 1 is probably not the worst movie ever, but it holds particular significance to me. When I was in about 6th grade, the only way I would be able to go to the theater is if my dad took me and my younger brother to go see movies. It was around October, and I remember this movie called Passengers starring Anne Hathaway that came out that I thought looked really cool, and I wanted to see it because it would have been my first PG-13 movie in the movie theater. So the day that it comes out, my dad gets my brother and I and says, "Hey, I got a surprise for you guys. Go get dressed." So I go up to my room, I put on some jeans, a white t-shirt, and a red Adidas sports jacket. At this point, I'm getting really excited because I think that we're going to go to the theater and see Passengers. So we load up in the car, my dad pulls up to the theater, and he turns around and says, "Hey guys, we're gonna see High School Musical 3. So I sit there in shock with my mouth hanging open, looking at him like, "How did you think this was a good idea?" And I proceed to tell him that this is a really, really, really bad idea and that this movie is going to be awful. But he keeps telling me that he thinks it's going to be like Grease, another movie from his childhood that was indeed a High School Musical. And he refuses to accept that I know more about this issue because I'm like 12. At this point, I realized 2 things. Number 1, I forgot my rewards card, so I can't even get points for this junk. Number 2, I realized what I'm wearing. Jeans, a white t-shirt, and a red sports jacket, which is exactly the outfit that Zac Efron wears throughout this entire movie. So I look like I'm cosplaying as Zac Efron from High School Musical while I go to see it on opening night with my dad. So when we walk up to buy the tickets, the ticket lady looks at me like, "This poor child." So we walk into the theater and it takes about 20 minutes into the film for my dad to realize that this is nothing like Grease at all. And so we walk out. And to this day, that is the quickest I've ever walked out of a movie. It also, concurrently, is the worst experience I've ever had in a movie. Therefore, it earns my #1 spot as the worst movie of all time. All right, so that was my top 3 worst movies of all time. I'd like to thank you guys for watching or sleeping or whatever you've been doing for all these 4 years. And I hope that we'll be able to provide a worthy successor for next year's installment of Guerilla Wolves Movie News. So, other than that business, this has been Guerilla Wolves Movie News, and I will always be Parker Lane.
The record's over. It's over.
This Friday, May 6th, 6 to 9:30, we're putting a real-life wolf in a real-life blender. Come on down to the Briggs Center for Wolf Jam.
All tickets are $5 and go to San Miguel High School. No refunds, but you won't want them anyway because this entertainment's going to be amazing. Come on down to Wolf Jam. Wolf Jam!
So, bottom line, I think Sean Santos is just a pretty good-looking dude.
Dude, look. Seniors. Legend has it, they can wear whatever they want to school.
Yeah, look! He's not even wearing a school regulation jacket!
Or socks. Be cool, be cool, be cool. They're coming, they're coming. Hey, you wanna come skip school with us? No, man, we can't.
Why? Because we're juniors.
Oh, they're juniors. Alright, man, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's go.
See you guys later.
They're amazing.
For me, sci-fi is one of my favorite movie genres. It has allowed for my dream of colonizing the stars and going on this epic space adventure. However, science fiction is not entirely accurate. It has led to many misconceptions about science and space travel. Today, I am here to clear up some of those misconceptions. One popular misconception is the idea that rockets just leave a planet. For example, in Star Wars Episode 4, Han Solo gets in the Millennium Falcon, leaves the planet Tatooine, and just takes off as if he were flying an airplane. This is extremely scientifically inaccurate. This is because all objects in space travel in orbits. An orbit is the curved path of a celestial object or spacecraft around a star, planet, or moon. Orbits are determined by gravity. So, what astronauts have to do is they have to circularize their orbits. When you circularize an orbit, you are pointing the rocket towards the horizon and increasing your horizontal speed. This will push the lowest point in the orbit higher, and when it is high enough, the ship will never fall to the Earth. This is due to the fact that the horizontal speed of the ship will be faster than the force of gravity pulling it down. Now, in Episode 4, Han Solo is just appearing taking off, as if he was flying an airplane. He was never seen circularizing his orbit or doing any kind of special orbital maneuver that would keep him from falling, so the ship would have fallen back to Tatooine. Another one of the very popular misconceptions, especially from the Star Trek universe, is the idea of warp speed. In the Star Trek movies, the ship is seen traveling at a very, very fast speed. Well, according to physics, the fastest speed in the universe is light speed. Light speed in a vacuum is a little less than 300,000 kilometers per second. Going at that speed, you would travel around the Earth 7 times every second. That seems pretty fast. However, the universe is measured in light years, or the distance that light travels in 1 year. The closest star system to Earth is called Alpha Centauri, and it is more than 4 light years away. That means it would take 4 years for light to reach it. So if the Starship Enterprise was traveling at the speed of light, it might take it an extremely long time to reach wherever it was going. So it can be logically assumed that the spaceship had to have been traveling at faster than the speed of light, which cannot happen according to the laws of physics. Even though sci-fi has created many misconceptions about science and space travel, it will always remain one of the greatest movie genres that has ever existed.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I love them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more. Activity, activity, energy through seafood. Gotta be the prelude to what we do, kid. My blueprint makes you wear tuxedo. Tagging and ragging and bagging and zigzagging and backing you diagonal. Crush above below. Trust me though.